Okay, everyone, welcome back. I am so excited to finish sharing with you some of the things that we started talking about yesterday about the gut. And I wanted to split it in half because there was just so much information, and there will actually be a bonus video that will actually go through the diet itself in a little bit more explanation, because there's just so much information. I don't want to overwhelm everybody and it just be so much that you're just going, I don't know where to even start. I don't know what to do. And I don't want that to happen. I want you to feel like you've got information and you feel empowered, but then take it in little steps, in little pieces, in little chunks, because everything can get overwhelming really fast. And, my journey was very slow. It was something that it takes years to mess something up, and to screw up your gut. But then it's also a very long process to get it healed back. And so you really want to take a process. You don't want to totally shock your system. I mean, it's great to go cold turkey and say, okay, I'm going to do this. But it's really a lot harder to stick to something if you go cold turkey and you jerk everything away. Your body has lived on sugar and dairy and gluten and all of these things for so long that then all of a sudden you jerk all that stuff away, your body kind of goes into a shock and it really don't know what to do with it. And especially like sugar, we are so addicted to sugar. Your body's addicted to it. It takes a while to detox from that. So those are some of the things that we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about what can you do to make things different, what can you do to change, and how can we implement some of the things that we're learning and not be overwhelmed. So yesterday we ended with talking about the goals of the GAPS diet. Now, while I'm talking about the GAPS diet a lot, there are lots of different ways you can do this, and we're going to talk through some of those things. But the GAPS diet just really takes so much away, and then it helps to build back some of your food choices. And the same is like Atkins diet. Now, Atkins, one thing about it does have you've got little Atkins drinks and you have Atkins bars, but as we're going to look at today, there's still so many different chemicals and things that are in that kind of stuff and so much processed foods that's not necessarily helping us. Yes, you're losing weight, but is that really going to help you health-wise long-term? So we want to do the things that's really going to be helpful for our gut and our bodies long-term. So, but the goals of the GAPS diet is to, of course, clean up your diet, clean up your digestive tract, make everything start working the way it's supposed to again, and get rid of the toxicity that's in your body. Number 2 is supplementation. After you've cut so much stuff out, putting good things back into your body that it can absorb. When your gut is messed up, your body is not absorbing anything. Your body is just especially if you've got leaky gut, it's like going everywhere. Nothing's really being absorbed like it's supposed to. So that is one of the major goals, that you want to make sure that you're absorbing everything in the right way. And then number 3, of course, is detoxification and lifestyle change. Being able to make the choices that you need to make every single day that is not going to be overwhelming for you, but that's going to make changes and walk in the right direction. So we're going to walk through some of the steps of how this looks and explain things that you can do today to start making changes. So whichever way you choose, whether you choose to go cold turkey and I'm just going to jump in there and do it all headstrong in, or if you take it slowly and you do a little bit at a time, I'm going to give you the resources to do both. So you choose which path is best for you, especially if you've got kids who are so used to eating all the sugar and eating all of the stuff. It's going to take you're going to want to back up. You're not just going to say, today, yeah, you have all the sugar, and then tomorrow go, guess what? There's no sugar today. They're going to really balk on you, because I know, I've been there. So, no matter which direction you choose, I want you to think about this quote. About 80% of the food that's on the shelves in the supermarket today did not exist 100 years ago. My grandmother is 94 years old. She has never eaten even now, she eats cereal and she eats, now she don't have much of a choice because she is older and it's harder for her to cook. But growing up, we had all fruits and vegetables. We had, everything was grown in the garden. Everything was made by hand at home all the time. And that was one of the greatest things I loved about going to her house, was because everything was fresh. Like, she would go outside, grab a chicken, wring its little neck, and it was on the table by lunchtime. I mean, like, it was the greatest thing ever. Now, granted, it was fried chicken, and it was, I mean, like, buttered biscuits and all the good stuff too. But more times than not, we had gobs of fresh everything. Fresh fruits, fresh vegetables, fresh. I mean, like, out of their garden. And I think that made a huge difference. It made a real impression on me as a kid. Like, you know, and I love now being able to have a garden and have animals. And now, I have to say, I do not kill my chickens. I have not. No, my grandmother is still like, you can do it. I know you can. Just go out there and grab it up and wring its neck. Still can't do it. I cannot. When that little chicken is looking at me with those sweet little eyes, I can't go, let me wring your neck real quick. I just cannot do that. My cousin would take the feet from the chicken when she'd get done, and he would take those to show and tell at school. It was a great day for that. But I want you to really think about the things that we put into our bodies now. We're not around 100 years ago. And this is why, now granted, to some degree, we hear people living longer now, or there for a while. It seemed like we had a lot of people living older. But then, what health are people living later? You know, is certain medications just kind of keeping them alive, but are they having true health? Now, my grandmother takes a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar every single day in a quart of water. Like, she swears by it. She bathes in apple cider vinegar. She washes her hair in apple cider vinegar. Everything she does is apple cider vinegar. The woman has lived through 4 bypass surgery, breast cancer, oh my goodness, the woman kind of cancer, ovarian cancer. She has had a hip replaced, a knee replaced. I don't know, like, she's had a lot. Like, her little life has not just been all roses and cherries, but she always bounces back. She still will drive. Now, she don't drive everywhere. My mother and my aunt take her most everywhere, but she does drive to church, and she drives to my aunt's house, and then they'll take her from there. And like, she don't mind going 5 or 10, 15 minutes up the road, but that's as far as she goes. She don't like to go into town much anymore, but she still enjoys getting out. She still does things. She cuts her grass, I think everybody's made her now stop cutting her grass, but she's always cut her grass. And like, now everybody's like, you're gonna have to stop. And that just really upsets her, because she loves being outside. And so I think about the things that I know that she's done for years and years and years, and her body going through the things that it's gone through, and seeing the health that she's had. Like, her health has not deteriorated. Like, I know she probably takes less medication than most people in their 40s. Like, she has certain things that she has to take, and there's certain things that she does have little issues with, but it's not near what some other people have had to endure. And I really think a lot of it is because she has a good, healthy gut. She keeps her body healthy, and she still eats as best as she can. And if she does not, if she can't eat something good, she's not going to eat it at all. And so I think about those things, and that has been a huge influence on me, and thinking, especially as we have really tried to, realizing the issues we were having, and seeing the things that were going on in my body and then the body of my children. There's so much that we have missed. And so I really want us to really think about feeding our brain and losing our belly. You know, there's so much that when you're feeding your brain, foods that we eat can feed our brain, or it can damage your brain. It can also feed your stomach and give you a lot less inflammation. Inflammation is one of those things, like when you get acne is a form of inflammation. It's always been in the back of my mind, the thought of, when we have acne, that we're we're eating something that's causing that. And I brought that up to our pediatrician, and he's like, no, it's more of the oil that's in the skin. You've got to wash your face all the time, and it's teenage years, and it's the hormones, and the blah, blah, blah. And so we hear all of that a lot. And while I think that is part of it, watching my kids' faces as we have cleaned up our diet, it has all gone back to the gut. Everything has gone back to the gut. When their gut is messed up, mine does it the same way. When I eat something wrong, my face flares, and like I will have acne horrendously, and like the kids do the same things, and it all goes back to the gut. Everything we do, everything goes into our bodies, everything goes back to the gut. So let's talk about some of these things that we can do. What you put in your body really does matter. Don't eat frankenfood, like processed food that's created in a lab. If you can't pronounce it, do not eat it. If there are more than a handful of ingredients, don't eat it. There's too many. That's the thing. I mean, if the ingredient list is this long, there's stuff in it that you don't need in your body. That means that it's being processed somewhere in something, a lab somewhere. But if you've only got 4 or 5 items, like, you can read the things in it. Now, granted, do not, just because it says sugar and you can read the word sugar, does not mean I know sugar, let me eat that one. Just because there's only sugar and flour does not mean that that's a food that you eat. I'm saying, think about what you're doing, think about what you're reading, think about, read the labels and figure out, does this look like something that would be worth putting in my body? Processed food damages the gut lining, and if you're in a healing protocol, the food you choose is mission critical to seeing your results. When your gut, and I promise you, this just happened yesterday, or over the last couple of days, my kids were in a very, very much just totally getting rid of everything, total detox. Well, I had an uncle to die, we had a funeral, and of course, you got to go eat, with the family and do all of that. Well, there's lots of cakes, lots of cookies, lots of stuff. And of course, those things are not going to be very conducive to the what we need. Everything's processed. Well, on the other side of that, they can't have protein because they have PKU too, so they can't be any protein at all. So it wasn't like they could just eat a little chunk of meat or something. You're going to have to eat something bready or whatever's there. And so yesterday, this was on Thursday, and so then yesterday, then everybody had tummy aches, everybody did not feel good, they're bloated, they feel nasty. Now, one of them has a horrible headache today, and it's like coming off of some sort of drug, after you've been off of it, and learning. For a long time, she had headaches just about every day. Her stomach hurt a lot. And, and we were trying to figure out what was going on. I had taken her to the doctor a gazillion times. We had done all of these things. And finally, I'm like, okay, I really think it's the gut. We're going to have to go to the gut. And once we start taking food away and she started feeling better, we realized this really is it. And then just watching that process of seeing her eat something and then how it makes her feel, she's beginning to see it. Because in her mind, she's like, oh, this is so crazy. But then when she realizes it and she feels it and she knows it, then she's like, oh my word, don't ever do that to me again. She has gone crazy over it. So hopefully by tomorrow she'll feel a little bit better. But it takes 2 or 3 days for your body to eliminate everything once it's gone through that process. It has to go through your entire body, go through all your digestive system, and it takes 2 to 3 days for all of that to come out. So it is a process. So let's talk about what the biggest 3 offenders are and what you want to avoid at all costs, if at all possible. Now, granted, I try to be an 80-20 type of person, being really good 80% of the time, and then 20%, that's just how, because it really is hard to be 100% all the time. Now, I have to be completely gluten-free all the time. There's not a if, and, or but. But as far as the kids, I've tried to kind of go with the 80-20 rule on some things. But I'm seeing that that's not really going to even be an option for them either. But at least it's a place to start. At least you've got this, you know, if I fall off the wagon, well, here I am, you know, I jump back on tomorrow or whatever. You have to give yourself a little bit of leeway sometimes. So the biggest offenders that we really want to avoid is sugar, gluten, and dairy. Now, when you first start a detox, you want to completely get rid of that altogether for, I'd say, a good 30 days. Just simply because you want your body to completely get rid of everything that's in there, get rid of the toxins, and give your gut time to heal. We're going to talk about some supplements that are going to be good that you really need as well. The healing types of foods that are good for your body is fermented foods, bone broth, good fats, probiotics, enzymes, and omegas. We're going to talk about each one of those. Now, the fermented foods, we don't get those as much anymore. So we're going to kind of talk about what things are considered fermented foods. Okay, so let's first talk about sugar and what sugar does to us. The average American drinks 597 cans of soda a year. One can has up to 15 teaspoons of sugar. Imagine sitting there eating 15 spoonfuls of sugar, just like eating it like this. Most of us drink our sugar and not eat it. Like, we probably would drink more than we'd ever eat. One study measured the effects of 100 grams of sugar on neutrophils. Now, neutrophils are a type of white blood cell that works with our immunity and within our immune system. And so those are highly important for us to have. Well, within an hour of ingesting sugar, neutrophil activity dropped 50%, and sugars are shown to lower our immune system. So that just shows us that that's a very bad direction to be, which means you're going to get sick more often. Now, I am very, very easily, if I eat too much sugar, I can feel it, the yeast overgrowth and the candida, like it builds up, like my head will start pouring, my nose will pour, my throat gets all congested. It's crazy, just within just a little while. Using fake sugar is not any better because studies have shown that aspartame, Splenda, NutraSweet, Equal, and other things like that are cancerous. Now, a really good type of sugar is stevia. That's probably one of the very best. It's actually made out of an herb. Raw honey, like from somebody's farm, kind of honey, like from the bee hive, not with any added sugars to it or anything like that. And locally sourced maple syrup. We're going to talk about where you can get some things locally as well. I use them in small amounts. Like, don't overload on those kind of things. Like, you still want to be very cautious, because it's still sugar, but your body does require some types of sugar and certain types of things. So it is good to have some, but you want to make sure you're getting the right kind. It's stunning where sugar is hidden. It's in everything from lunch meats to spaghetti sauce, white bread, and salad dressing. I once grabbed an organic yogurt to find out it had 7 grams of sugar in one serving, which you think yogurt, that's one of the things they say to eat that's got lots of probiotics and that's supposed to be very good to kill the yeast and sugar overgrowth, basically. But if it's already got sugar in it, then that's kind of defeating the whole purpose. It's important to read all the labels of everything that you're eating. From a study in JAMA with the Harvard School of Health, researchers gathered 15 years of data on 40,000 people. They found that those who took in 25% of their daily calories from sugar were more than twice as likely to die from heart disease. So that's scary, just depending on the types of sugar that we eat. The average person consumes 17 grams or teaspoons of sugar a day, which is 57 pounds of sugar a year. So you think about adding 57 pounds of sugar to yourself every year. So just think, if you just took the sugar away, you could possibly lose 57 pounds just like that. You should be under 10 grams of per day, but if you're on the outside, you wouldn't be eating anything. Like, it would be no sugar at all. Anything more than that is causing gut damage all the time. And I can attest to that because I've done that to myself as well. Now, next thing that we're going to avoid is gluten. Now, gluten is one of those things that I never knew much about. It's actually a protein that's in the bread, and it's called glue, or it means glue. It actually holds the bread together. It kind of gives it that fluff and makes the bread taste good. I mean, like I promise you, gluten-free bread is a little different than regular bread. Now, I've developed a taste for it. It does not bother me one bit. I like the taste of gluten-free bread, but, you know, I've also been off of it for 7 or 8 years now, so I don't think anything of it. But it is a huge, huge deal when it comes to your gut. We eat it daily, and everything that we eat, like cereals, bread, sandwiches, pasta, pizza, like everything that we do has gluten in it. I mean, pretty much. For the last 50 plus years, wheat has been hybridized and crossbred with other grains and species, then sprayed with chemical fertilizers and pesticides. One study alone from the USDA found 16 different pesticides in wheat flour. Once they actually get into the lab, so that's just growing, that's not even getting in the lab. Once it's in the lab, then it's enriched. If you ever see the word enriched, like run away from that, like go away the other way, because that's really horrendous. It's enriched with fake vitamins and synthetics that can cause unbelievable damage to the gut, to the minerals in your body, and the ability to absorb the real vitamins that are out there. Non-enriched bread is kind of hard to find, but there is Dave's Killer Bread. It's really good. That doesn't have the enriched stuff. You can order it on Amazon. I love Amazon. Like anytime I'm so confused about what I need to order, like I need to buy and what we need to eat, I can order so much stuff on Amazon. It's like crazy. I know some people don't like Amazon, but oh my word, like it has been a lifesaver for me. Gluten is actually a protein found in wheat, rye, spelt, and barley. Blocks of undigestible protein from the gluten slide down into your intestines, and it slows the absorption of other nutrients. So it actually gums up. So when it says glue, like it's actually attaching other things to it, and it's just gumming up your intestines as it's going through. Our small intestine, our bodies look at gluten as a foreign object, and the immune system attacks it. It's basically priming the small intestine for digestive issues. That's why, like celiac disease, that's what it's doing. Your body is attacking itself, and it does not like it. And so then, therefore, you end up with an autoimmune disease because your body just absolutely hates it. Now, a lot of people say, well, I'm fine with gluten. It doesn't bother me at all. You don't realize it's bothering you. Like mine was severe, and I could feel it, and like I knew something wasn't right because my stomach hurt all the time, and I did not feel good. But some people don't even know. Like your belly, if it's, I mean, some of it can be the form of just not being able to lose weight. Like you're swollen. A lot of people are not really fat because of fat, they're swollen. And it's just this over amount of eating gluten for so long that their bodies are just like it don't know what to do with it. And it's just attacking itself, but you don't even know it. You don't even feel bad. But you would be surprised at how bad you feel, but you don't realize you feel bad. And it's like if you come off of it and you're not having it anymore, you will be shocked at how good you feel. Your body will have energy. You will feel like a whole new person. Like, I promise you that. Even if you don't have like any kind of major disease or anything, and you're just coming off of it just to see how you feel, just to do a cleanse and a detox or whatever. Okay, so the last thing that we want to make sure that we avoid is dairy. Now this is going to be the last thing we talk about on here. I just want to kind of like give you the basics of why we're not doing these things. On the bonus video, we will talk about the foods you can eat, what is best for you, and a diet that will work. Dairy, the type of dairy you consume is absolutely critical. If it is raw dairy, like from cows that are pasteurized and not fed any kind of grain or have any hormones or antibiotics or anything like that in it, you're doing good. So keep doing that. If you went and snagged a gallon at the grocery store instead of sourcing it from a local farmer, then that's a whole different story. So let's talk about what's going to happen if you are drinking this from the grocery store shelf. If you're consuming milk, butter, yogurt, and cheese from the cows that are continually being fed antibiotics, being put out with wheat, all of those things, you may be developing antibiotic resistance. The hormones that give the cows the cows increase your chance of being overweight and getting cancer. When the milk is pasteurized, the natural enzymes, the probiotics, and amino acids are completely destroyed. It goes from being a superfood, which should, milk should be very good for you, and instead it becomes a poison. So how you source the dairy takes it from one of the best foods for your diet to probably one of the worst things that you could be doing to yourself. Everything a cow gets injected, like ibuprofen, steroids, any of the antibiotics that it's given, all those go in directly into your milk because that's in their body. They're producing the milk, and that milk then goes into a jug and it comes to you. Yay! A study found some pasteurized milk can be more inflammatory to your gut than gluten, which is crazy. And I have found this to be true as well, because because we started trying to take things away to see what was issues, and we have figured out one of the other culprits is the dairy. In addition to that, pasteurized milk increases your exposure to glyphosate, a chemical component of Roundup. Oh my goodness, a pesticide and herbicide applied to genetically modified crops, of course, which then that all is given to cattle, which is great. If you do not have a raw milk option near you, then you can at least do like coconut milk, almond milk, or goat's milk, something like that can replace those things, which is a much better choice. Just avoid soy. Do not do soy at all. Soy is a hormone disruptor, and it's just as bad as anything else. So just don't do that either. So then we get to the what can we eat. So that's going to be a whole video all on itself. So we're going to save that for the next video, because I really want to be able to spend some time on just what we need to eat and give you some recipes and some good choices, and that way you can always go back and reference that, and you're not having to go back through this entire video to get to that one part. So it will be all on what we can eat. So let's talk about a few of the supplements. We'll get more into other supplements and things on the other video, but I want you to have some things that you can start today that can make some changes from here and really help you to feel better off the bat. So just simply, if you want to start slowly, which is what I recommend, is very slowly, every day, start taking another, or once a week, start taking something away. Now, I use Young Living, and and that's one of the things that kind of spurred into, I had already started a lot of my healing process by the time I started using Young Living, but once I got Young Living, then I was like, okay, it just complemented what I was already doing, because it's completely pure. It's completely like you have an oil, and it's just that oil. Like lemon is just lemon. There's nothing added to it. There's no synthetics. There's nothing, like the way that they distill it, the way it's processed, it's one oil in a bottle. Peppermint's one oil in a bottle. So that's what you want. You want the one ingredient things. You want the things that are simple, easy, that's not going to cause more harm to your body. So like peppermint is very good for inflammation. I can put a few drops on my feet and it helps things feel better. So there's just so much you can do with that. There's also tons of supplements and things like that we have begun to use to change out, to complement our absorption and make sure that we are absorbing the foods that we eat every single day. So as we're going through and we're learning what we need to eat and what's best for our bodies and how to change these things out, we want to make sure that we're also putting good things back in with the supplementation, because it's going to take a little while for your gut to heal. And in that healing process, you want to speed that up as best as possible. So one of the things that you want to do, now I know a lot of people, we hear so much about oils and oil companies and oil things, but you want to make sure that you do have a company that you use that is extremely, extremely pure. So if you have any questions about that, just let me know, because I will talk you through the best way to get hold of Young Living in the easiest way. But through that process, you want to make sure that down to even the supplements and everything, that you're not just randomly grabbing supplements from the grocery store, because even supplements from the grocery store are full of all kinds of stuff. Like, it's synthetic made vitamins and minerals and stuff that's been made in a factory. One thing that I love about Young Living is that they take the oil. The oil actually helps your body to absorb the nutrients better. So they put the oil in with the supplements, and your body marries it much better, and it all comes together in a beautiful manner, and everything gives you more energy and makes you feel better in a much better way. So if you have questions about that, let me know. So I say all of that to say that through our diet, our supplementation, and our detoxification, the detoxification is going to be our lifestyle change. It's going to be something that's going to be changing over time. So if we want to start slowly, which is where I suggest you start, begin each week. At the first of the week, maybe say, okay, this week we are going to reduce the amount of sugar we take. We're going to get rid of like half of the sugar. I'm not going to buy any more boxed cereals. I'm not going to buy any more stuff like all the snacky things, the cookies or whatever. Just stop that thing and say, okay, what can we replace that with? We can replace that with fruit. Now, granted, I understand that buying organic is going to cost more. And maybe in the beginning, just buying the fruits and vegetables, wash them extremely well. We have a fruit and veggie wash, which actually washes off all the pesticides and everything. That is specifically, it's a Thieves fruit and veggie wash, and it works really well to wash off all of the pesticides and everything off of the fruits and vegetables. And so if you are not able to get the organic, at the very least do that, and at least be swapping over some of these things that you can get rid of, and replace some of that stuff. The next thing is, like, once you've started taking things away, like I would start with sugar and reduce that down, get to where you're just not having any sugar, or at least the most minimal amount that you could possibly get by with. The next thing would be the gluten. Get rid of your bread, all the breads. I do have a diet, and I will share that probably in the next video, and it will have a list of these are the things you can eat, and like a protocol to go through to eliminate each week. And it's a 4-week plan, and so like each week you eliminate something else, and so then you get down to the bare bones. You'll drink a lot of smoothies that last week, but it is a complete detox, and it pulls everything that you do not need in your body, and it's really, really awesome, and it feels really good. And that's what we started with, and it really helped us, because to some degree, it's still taking a lot of stuff away at one time, but at the same time it's a slower progression down instead of just cold turkey, and that's one thing that I like. Okay, the other thing that our body really needs is enzymes, and this is something that our bodies make naturally, but we don't always get enough from what we eat because of the things that we're eating. In a nutshell, enzymes create chemical reactions in our body. They speed up the rate of a chemical reaction to help support life. The enzymes in your body do important tasks like building muscle, destroying toxins, and breaking down food so that to get the nutrients from what you eat. And in short, what you digest, you are what you digest, according to Dr. Joseph Mercola. The protein that will slow nearly every inflammatory disease is enzymes. Here is a brief list of some of the things enzymes do: energy production, absorption of oxygen, fight infections and heal wounds, reduce inflammation, get nutrients to your cells, carry away toxic waste, break down fats in your blood, regulating cholesterol and triglyceride levels, dissolve blood clots, help the proper hormone regulation, and slow the aging process. So as you can see, that is a huge list of stuff that just enzymes do. So 90% of Americans buy processed foods, and so our diets are heavy with cooked and processed stuff and the sugary stuff, and we're just not getting the enzymes that we need. If you heat your food above 116 degrees, it renders most of the enzymes that are even in that good food, even if it is vegetables, they're rendered inactive, like they're not even going to work anymore. So it's one reason that you want the raw foods and you want to eat as much healthy stuff as possible. This is one reason why I love smoothies so much. You can add the fruit, you can add a little bit of vegetable in there with it, and you mix it all up, and you can't even taste the vegetables. The kids don't even know that they're eating broccoli, or I'll put green beans, those little fat green beans in there sometimes, spinach. You can hide everything in a smoothie, and it is amazing. The last thing we're going to talk about is omegas. Omega 3, 6, 9, and 12 help your body communicate with itself. When your soldiers talk to each other, they win the battle. They're also good for your heart, concentration, memory, learning, blood sugar levels, joints, your brain and nervous system, your liver, cholesterol levels, your mood, and they fight inflammation. So where do you get these? Wild caught fish, grass-fed meats, sprouted seeds and nuts. Primarily, those types of things is where you're going to get the most out of your omegas. 95% of Americans are deficient in DHA and EPA, which are the three fatty acids. Each of these supplements play a role in helping the GAPS diet work faster and helping your body to heal more quickly. You can stay on the diet for 2 years or 10, it doesn't matter. I'd rather be on it. You can stay on the diet for 2 years or 10 years. I'd rather be on it for 2. I'm sorry, I read that really weird. You can be on the GAPS diet forever, but at the same time, it is very restrictive. So you don't want to just completely spread it out forever. Stay on it for a couple of years, but you can reduce the amount of time that you're going to be on it by taking your supplements and taking the things that you need that's going to help your body and heal your body better. So that is just some of the things that are really highly important, that really are going to make a big difference in your body for your health. So when we're done, one thing I want you to do, if you are ready to totally jump in and you want to go head over heels, or if you just want to take it slowly and you just want to take one group at a time, let me know. I will help you. I can help you develop a diet that's going to be easier for you. If you have kids, I've had to do this with my kids. I've had to do it with my husband, which I think is harder to do than with the kids. I've done it for myself. So I love to help people set up a diet, set up your supplements, get everything together. It's no charge whatsoever for me to help you get this done. And we can do a scan to help figure out exactly what oils and what supplements and what things are specifically good for your body, that your body needs and that it's craving. And that to me is highly important, because some people's bodies need certain things. Everybody's bodies are different. Everybody's guts are different. There's certain things that you're going to need to come off of. If you don't want to be as extreme as the GAPS diet, but you want something a little bit less, let me know. I will be more than happy to help you, because I do not mind at all. I love helping people find their place in that happy medium, and I want to see people healthy, and I want to see people feeling good, because it is such an amazing feeling when you finally get to that place where you realize that this is where I was and this is how I feel today, and it's nowhere the same at all. It is the most amazing feeling to feel better. And I think so many times we're feeling so bad that we don't even realize that we feel bad. We're so used to feeling that way and used to feeling lethargic and feeling mad or tired or whatever, and we forget that we could actually feel good. I mean, even your mental status, just being ornery all day long. There's no reason for you to be ornery all day long. You should not be stressed out over everything. Life should not be that stressful. And I promise you, if you heal your gut, so many of those kind of things begin to heal as well. Even emotions and in your mental capacities make a big difference. So please let me know. I have my email below, and there is a link to click on that if you want more information or you need help and just getting started in this new lifestyle. I am more than happy to help you in any way I possibly can. So I will talk to you soon. I hope you have a great week.